So the brand new Amazon Fire TV Stick Select has just been announced. And right from the top, we're talking about 1 gig RAM, 8 gig storage, no Dolby Vision, no Wi-Fi 6, no Bluetooth 5.2. And finally, and probably the most biggest announcement, is the fact that it's now running Vega OS. So no more Android, no more typical sideloading. All of your current Android applications are not going to work on this new Vega-based Fire Stick. And it's going to be priced around about $40. So and we can see it direct on the Amazon page. These are some of the new things that they've announced. You've got the new TVs, you've got the new Fire TV devices. Let's click on that now. And we can see upgrade your TV and go ahead and pick one of the new Fire TV Stick 4K Select. I mean, really, the fact that it's running Vega OS, maybe it should be called the Fire TV Stick 4K Restricted or 4K Blocked or 4K no more sideloading, because this is really a Roku-like device now, because no more Android is going to run a Linux operating system and none of your previous applications are going to work on this device. So let me show you the full specs of this new device, but also from a Vega point of view, what are the options when it comes to potentially trying to sideload something on that kind of OS. So Elias has actually posted 2 great articles on this. This one talks about the general specs, and this new one, which he's just posted now in the last few minutes, talks about Vega OS and how it's going to impact sideloading. But let's have a quick look at the specs here first. The brand new device called the Fire TV Stick 4K Select, and it's going to be priced at $40 or just under $40. And they say it's the fastest 4K stick running 40. Now, one thing I'll not question is the speed. So, when you do run a cut down operating system, a very lockdown operating system, you can actually get very good performance, just like the Roku devices, which are not very powerful, but because of their proprietary operating system, it is very locked out, it's very lean, all of the extra bloat is not there, and because of that, it actually responds and performs really well. So I can also imagine this 4K Fire Stick Select also performing well. It only has 8 gigs of storage, but does not support Dolby Vision. So for the people that do want the best quality visuals, then unfortunately Dolby Vision is not supported. But again, it just goes back to the point that this is supposed to be a budget cut down stick. So you can definitely see them cutting corners in different areas. Even on the Wi-Fi, we can see this runs Wi-Fi 5, whereas most of the other Amazon devices run Wi-Fi 6 or 6E. So again, another place where they've actually cut things down. And again, we can see it only has 1 gig RAM, which is a first for any 4K Fire TV model. Even the earliest first generation sticks used to have 1.5 gig. I mean, they were really slow, but they generally worked okay. But the fact that this brand new Fire Stick released in September 2025 or October 2025 is only going to have 1 gig RAM. But again, it just shows you how confident they are with their newer, leaner Vega OS that it should run absolutely fine with just 1 gig RAM. Now, before we continue, let me just quickly share this QR code that if you are looking for a fantastic offer for a ridiculously fast VPN, stay safe online, change your IP address, access geo-locked content, protect your privacy, you definitely want to go ahead and scan this QR code for a superb discount. And we can see they only have Bluetooth 5 instead of Bluetooth 5.2. So again, just cutting corners, trying to reduce the price. And obviously with the main thing running Vega OS, and we can see some of the prices here. Now talking about Vega OS, we can see that it is a Linux-based operating system, which again means that it's not going to be compatible with your Android applications. Now, as we know, Android applications are typically APK files or XAPK files, but we can see with these Vega applications, they'll be using VPKG files. So if you see a file like that, it's designed for the Vega OS and definitely not your Android-based devices. Now, it says that the Amazon confirmed that only applications from the Amazon App Store are available to download on the new Vega OS Fire TV Stick 4K Select. So just implying that don't have any dreams or ideas of sideloading your own applications. All applications must come from the Amazon App Store, which basically means that options like install from unknown sources will not be present on Vega OS devices. Even if he releases a Vega version of his downloader app, because you can't actually install anything, then really, what's the point of doing that? Now, this is where it gets interesting, because he's saying here that it will be possible to sideload apps onto Vega OS using command line interface similar to Android's ADB utility. So maybe if you can enable the developer options, you could potentially sideload a VPKG file onto your Vega OS device, but you have to use the command line. So maybe you can potentially sideload a vpkg file onto your new Vega device to use some of your favorite applications once they have been rewritten for Vega OS. I mean, some of this is speculation, which I will be ordering a couple of these devices just to see how this new Vega OS actually works in reality, because sometimes with what you see in documentation or these press releases isn't what actually comes out on the actual devices. So if you guys are interested in these devices, you're probably not, but if you want to see what they look like, make sure you are subscribed with all notifications, and I'll be doing a video as soon as I get my hands on one of these newer devices. And he says that the look and feel of the Vega OS on Fire TV devices will be identical to the current Android-based one. So, and very importantly, he does say that existing Fire TVs will continue to use the Android-based Fire OS and continue to release software updates. Also, none of the existing Fire TV devices, so if you currently have a second gen cube, first gen cube, Fire TV Stick, Fire TV Stick Max, all of your current Android-based Fire TV devices, all of them are going to stay on Android. So there's no fear, no worry that, oh, my device is going to get updated to Vega OS, because it's just not going to happen. And he also says here that Amazon have explicitly stated that it still plans to release newer Fire TV devices which will run Android-based Fire OS, especially the one I mentioned in my last video, which is going to be the most powerful Fire TV device, which will have 4 gigs RAM, 32 gig storage. Again, that should be running Android. So for the people that do want to stick with Amazon but just looking for more powerful devices, there are definitely some on the horizon. And again, your existing devices will continue to run Android. You have nothing to worry about when it comes to Vega OS being pushed onto your devices. I mean, the main takeaway from this is that Vega OS will allow Amazon to release lower powered devices because Vega OS is not as demanding as Android, and because of that, it'll be able to run absolutely fine on these lower powered budget devices. So for some people, they may be interested in that, but for lots of you, particularly the ones that like sideloading, I'm sure you'll stick with the Android-based devices. So that's pretty much this video, guys. Many thanks for watching. Do leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think about these newer devices. Are you interested? Are you happy? Are you fed up? Do leave me a comment below. Let me know, and I'll hopefully catch up with you guys real soon. Thanks.